Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. So there seems to be a growing negativity around PvP in general. So I really just want to give my thoughts and opinions on the state of the game, the good and the bad, maybe what this expansion did good, and where this expansion really needs to make the game. So let's start positive. So at least for me, it is very nice to not have to worry about bubbles and wells just plopping on the zone in trials as often. Yeah, I mean, I do see you'll see in this gameplay that at least for this there are two well warlocks on but you'll find out very soon that that's not very common like team composition or trials. um there's a pretty big glaring reason for that. So yeah, less bubbles and wells is very nice. Those free supers don't just supers, that just win you the round for free. Um and this might be just my opinion, but I do think there is a lot of, weapon variety that is happening right now. And I know when I say weapon variety, people might scoff and just say, dude, like what are you talking about? 340 pulses are the most broken thing in the game. You just sit in the back of the map and you just two burst people with the LC's rifle. Like, what are you talking about? Now, I will say that those 340 pulses are very strong. Like no doubt about it. Like LC's, Red Death, No Time, those are all very strong weapons, and they do have a pretty high ease of use when it comes to hitting their optimal TTK of that two burst, because their stability and those perks that they have, really help hit your shots more easily than other weapons. But at the same time, like they're not so OP where I'm just like crying about it like every single match like I have in the past with like I don't know if you guys remember like old like original like Dead Man's Tale, or what's another good one like Lorentz Driver or Arbalist. People going invisible like Kefri Sting with Arbalist. Um it's not like those weapons are not to the point where like I'm just like I want to get off because I got hit by a pulse rifle, but they are very strong. um and it's not like there aren't other options that you can use. In this gameplay, you'll see, I do like still using 120 hand cannons, especially with a precision instrument. This something new role I've been really enjoying lately. That elemental precision instrument. This you have this one. You have Criminal's Dagger and Igneous Hammer. So there are a couple, strong 120 hand cannon options. SMGs, just like Shira's Wrath, Unending Tempest, even like Ikilos and like Immortal still have a place. If you're up close and you get caught by one of those SMGs, like you're not going to beat him. Or sidearms like Drang or like Forgiveness. Uh, like they all have like their little niches that where they can really succeed in. And my favorite 140 hand cannons, Ace and like Hawkmoon and Explosive Rose. You know, if you want to, there's a weapon out for you. If you want to enjoy it. And I've also forgot to mention, scout rifles also can be really good. Depending on the map. This map, I have not used any scout rifles, but if you do play like a Dawnblade Warlock, you can always just fly around like a Jade Rabbit or like a Fangaber. And scout rifles have their place. So I do like that. There are like some strong, really strong weapons in this meta right now, but I do think that it's solid enough that like the weapons are not like the main focus of why PvP is in such a rough state right now. And so when I talk about why the PvP is in a rough state right now, we got to talk about Prismatic here. Now, Prismatic, as everyone knows, has different combinations that Bungie has given to all the classes. Not you can just pick whatever ability you want and slap it on the class. And there has and hunters definitely seem to have gotten the best treatment from Bungie in regards to like the best PvP abilities from all the subclasses combined. They have at least they definitely have the best and the most obnoxious, which just like it compounds and makes it like so annoying to play against them. They have that threaded specter, to make that clone and the fake radar ping. They have slow dodge, so if you dodge next to someone, their handling gets nerfed. They can't double jump and they can't really fight back at you. You have the smoke bomb, which is a fake radar ping again. Was just buffed in the expansion, so where it does more damage the longer you're in it, and blinds you. And then you have the swarm grenade, which is also buffed in the final shape, so it lasts longer. I believe it was also I don't know if it tracked more aggressively, but it was definitely larger and the duration was increased. So as you sort of saw right there, I just got wombo comboed, smoked, and then swarm grenaded. So if I didn't have that healing turret for my teammate, I would have just been absolutely owned. I had no health. I was still scorched. I wasn't going to regen or anything. So really, it's just Prismatic Hunter has the best and the most annoying abilities from all the classes in one. In terms of PvP, this is not going to be a PvE discussion, but this in combination with other ways that Bungie has showed Hunter's favoritism. I mean, I'm gonna be like, I play all the classes. I mean, Warlock is probably my favorite, but I do enjoy play. It's not like I don't enjoy playing Hunter from time to time. Hunter is still a very fun class to play, but it is definitely like very apparent that in terms of PvP, Hunter's got the best treatment in comparison to the rest of the classes. And this is like another way like Bungie really showed, I don't know, they mismanaged the combinations that were given to Hunter was in the exotic class items too. Now I know like they are like a huge pain to farm, and so not everybody's going to have like the god roll exotic class item. But if you have that Ophidian aspect sixth coyote exotic class item and you're on Prismatic Hunter, you'll know how strong that class item makes Prismatic Hunter. Now, those exotic class items are supposed to nerf or be like weaker versions of the main exotic themselves, and then combine those two weaker perks to make something that is, worth using. But in terms of that particular combination on Hunter, so really, Ophidian aspect, the reason why most people use it is because you get that flat 35 handling to all your weapons at all times. Like no cost, no downsides. It doesn't have, the reload or the airborne effectiveness that the regular gloves have, but it does have the most important part, which is the handling. And those other parts, like they can be, you could really like not miss them at all. Just in terms of like wearing the regular gloves versus using the class item. And then you have Sixth Coyote, which isn't nerfed at all compared to its like normal version. So you have that second dodge and you have the Ophidians at the same time. And so that second dodge with the threaded specter slow dodge is probably the most aggravating thing you can go against, especially if you're trying to play more aggressive, because the hunter, just slow dodges right in front of you. Puts the clone up, and then just has their way with you. So Hunters got the best class item, they got the best subclass, and they also got I forgot to mention too, when I was going over the subclass, but they also did get the best super as well. They got that new super they have, the Storm's Edge. I mean, I don't want to like overblow it. Like this is gonna kind of sound crazy, but it is just 3 thunder crashes in one super. Because you have that instant teleport, you can travel super far across the map, and the radius of where the super lands, in terms of like how far it can connect to other players, is pretty forgiving. So they have the best super. They probably have the best melee, the best grenade, the best 2 aspects, or they have like 2 of the really strong aspects, which also happen to be the most annoying. And so it does seem like Prismatic Hunter, it needs a lot to be toned down to even like be at an acceptable level at this point. And really this is exacerbated by like my next point, which is, where did Checkmate go from those changes on March 5th. So those checkmate changes like were supposed to reduce abilities, which they did. They reduced ability like cooldowns significantly. I think it was like 30-ish percent increasing the cooldowns by. And they also reduced special ammo significantly, so there'd be a more primary focused um, you know, like environment. And now since Prismatic has been released, it feels like whenever you're in a PvP match and you're going against Prismatic Hunter, which you will go against Prismatic Hunter, they're in like every single lobby in waves. It always feels like they have at least one of their tricks available, because they have the deepest bag. They have all those. They have all like the most like nasty abilities, in the game. And I guess my main point really is here that there isn't a gunfight, not a gunfight, a duel where you challenge a hunter and there's like their ability free. Like they're never like out of abilities. It feels like, even if they don't have let's say they don't have the swarm grenade and they don't have a smoke. If you're close to a hunter and they just hit you with a threaded specter and the slow dodge, you're probably done for. And then if they dodge close, they're probably using gambler's dodge. They get the smoke right back, and then they can just smoke the guy in the next battle, and then they can, by that time they have their swarm grenade back, and then because they have 6 coyote dodge, they always have like that second dodge charging, so they always have like a dodge available. So it always feels like you're going to get like an uphill battle when going against these Prismatic Hunters. So I don't really know what Bungie should be doing to Prismatic Hunter that will like I don't like, cause a lot of these like things I want like Bungie to do would be like pretty spiteful. Like I understand that like Prismatic Hunter like should be strong because it is like the new like expansion subclass, but at the same time like it's so annoying to play against, and people are so sick of it at this point that people like kind of just don't want to even see it anymore. And like the expansion has only been out for like 2 months, so I I don't know. I just don't know why Bungie. It seems like Bungie did a huge backtrack with that um checkmate, and not really even just the abilities of with Prismatic and those ability looping of things, but also special ammo. I mean, like in trials like this week and the week before, there hasn't been that special ammo meter. You spawn in with one and then you run and you grab a crate. And at least for me, I always was an ammo meter like supporter. I know that not everybody liked it because it wasn't as good with certain like weapons as it was with others. I know for me, at least with the shotgun, it probably affected me the least, or us shotgun players the least of all the people who like using special weapons. Um, I know people who like use snipers or like glaives or maybe even like a forerunner. Like they really felt those ammo changes, but with a shotgun you didn't really feel it as much. So some people didn't like the ammo meter system as much as others. Um, but I think what that did with the ammo meter was increased the amount of primary fights you would have rather than special weapon jousting. Now, even like this week, I haven't really noticed like snipers are here, but they're really not as prevalent as I thought they'd be. Really, what these new rates and spawn-in systems have done is made Forerunner really, really good. I'm sure a couple of you guys have noticed that this week and last week, Forerunner seems to be like spreading like a plague. Because I believe you spawn in with 4 and then you pick up the crate and then you have 8. So you can really use the Forerunner like a primary weapon in a trials round where it should be used or with the meter system. You had to use that Forerunner ammo like pretty sparingly for certain situations, but now like you can just kind of spam it wherever where you don't have to, like, because you don't have to worry about working for the ammo. And so I know some people will enjoy these new crates because they like playing a certain way with their special weapons. But I think that all this kind of exacerbates the issue with prismatic with hunters, because a lot of these abilities with prismatic hunter um, can be cleaned up very easily with special weapons. So, for example, like a slug shotgun um, is very strong with prismatic hunter, because let's say you're like sliding a corner with your slug shotgun out, and you have a nice angle where you can get a clean shot off of your slug shotgun. You shoot it, and then you dodge back, and so since you dodge back, you have that threat inspector clone, and so not only is that opponent slowed and there's a clone in front of them, if they're not already dead to that slug shotgun shot, like shotgun headshot, they got body shot maybe. They're weak, and then they're slowed, and then they have that threat inspector clone in front of them. So like a lot of like the special ammo weapons like work in conjunction with prismatic hunter specifically to really make like an unenjoyable experience when you're playing in PvP. And I'm not saying like I've never played prismatic hunter. I mean, I think I have multiple like solo flawless runs using like some like broken setups. I just made like a video like during this week using like the most broken build. I thought I used like chaperone and like an LC's rifle with like the slow dodge and everything. I called it like the zero skill build, or if you're bad, you use this build. But it's I only did that because just to show that, I mean, people didn't need me to show that, but just to show that how strong it really is. And so I think all in all, there have been some good, and but there has been a lot of bad. And so some of the suggested changes I would like to add to PvP to maybe make this a little bit better is we gotta. I think they nerfed, or not nerfed, but they changed the ability cooldowns from Checkmate from 30% to 15% at some point. We gotta bump that ability cooldown nerf back up to like 30% again, maybe even a little bit more, so that there's a little bit less looping of abilities, and there's more moments in a PvP match where you have to pick and choose if you want to use an ability or not in a gunfight, rather than just, oh, I have the ability, I'm just going to use it off cooldown because I know that I have 3 other abilities in my pocket. So I do think we need to look at like a blanket ability cooldown increase for I mean, honestly, all classes, but Prismatic Hunter is like the main problem, so we should like that's going to be affecting it. We should be targeting or using nerfs to target that class first. And I do like the ammo meter system, but I do understand that it affected um different players more than others. Like it didn't really affect me that much because I use like a shotgun primarily. So I think that a fair compromise would maybe be you have the meter, but it only takes um 1 kill of a primary weapon to get the ammo. And I don't think you should be getting it off spawn every single time. But with the original meter, you could like stockpile special ammo in between deaths if you like were only using your primary and then save your special ammo for specific moments. I do think if you had that kind of system, but where you needed less kills to get special ammo, I think that'd be a something where you could get enough special ammo to like use it like often, but like you still would have to pick and choose when you wanted to use your special ammo, so you asked like not to waste it. But yeah, I don't know. Like all in all, it's been pretty rough last couple months. I mean, I think the high of the expansion is now over, and people are kind of like come back down to earth and reality. So I am still enjoying the game. I still like making videos. I'm not going to be stopping that anytime soon, but I do think these are a lot of reasons why there seems to be like population and trials, like people aren't going to be playing as much in the game in general. So I do think, you know, just like some of those like blanket like ability nerfs and a rework of the special ammo system again. I mean, they've reworked it like a million times, but like if they could just find something and stick with it, that'd be nice. And yeah, just thank you guys for listening to my rant. I know this wasn't really scripted and it was kind of all over the place, but yeah, I appreciate you guys for listening, and I'll catch you next time.